Day 13 was momentous because, yep, I now have the GoPro again, so it's a resumption of the handlebar footage, just in time for Skye and the bit that led on, and I'm very glad I managed to sort that out. Now, while the road from Broadford around the coast towards Portree does have beautiful views, it also has a lot of very heavy traffic. This was probably some of the most unpleasant cycling of my entire trip, with a brief diversion down a side road that unfortunately turned out to be a dead end, so I had to come back and go up the hill. That was annoying. So, with my combination of a busy enough road, quiet for the moment, but then I decided to film, and a steep bloody hill going up, but up, but up. So I've taken a break on the curve where I could get in behind the barrier. No pulling in places on any of these, which is a bit tough actually if you're cycling. Also makes it harder to allow cars to pass. If I was the tourist board and the road authorities, I put in a little 20-metre lane for a bike every kilometre or so, basically, so you could just coast in, everyone could pass you, and then you could just coast out of it again. Because it's pretty tough. At least though the descent was a lot more exciting and offered a view on the way down. But still plenty of traffic on that as well. But eventually you get to Sligachan with its absolutely magnificent views of the Cuillin and the hotel where I had lunch, which was promising a midge-free zone. It was more or less working. This is one of the points of the tour where it was very hard not to stop and take a fresh photograph every 30 or 40 seconds and shoot some video. So, in fact, that's often what I did. Here too, I was thankfully forking off the main road to Portree and instead heading towards the fairy pools and then Glenbrittle, which is where I was going to be camping that night. The road was still busy, but it was much slower moving, and then became a single track road as I neared the fairy pools, which led to some very elaborate passing. The combination of single track roads and passing places is something people seem to find intimidating in advance, but actually from a cycling perspective it's a lot better than the fast main roads. It's pretty manageable once you get the hang of it. Glenbrittle campsite is very isolated. It's about another 6 kilometres past the fairy pools as you reach the sea. Very well worth going there actually. There's no mobile phone signal, but there is an extremely good pastry shop, which I understand is now serving pizzas as well. But definitely worth it for the views and the isolation. So, on this, the longest day of the year, I did in fact manage to hike part of the way up the mountains. In fact, part of the way up the Black Cuillin, which are mountains you climb with ropes, helmets and all that sort of gear, because they're very spiky. So I'm not going to be going any further, but, you know, I feel it's good. On this day, I made progress. I'm a little afraid of midges, I must say, at this point, because when I set out there was a strong wind. Now it's dying down and they could get me in numbers as I descend, I fear. I was cycling into a really strong wind all day, so it would be particularly unfair if this is what happens, but I think it's quite likely to be what happens. I saw some deer on the way up. That was cool as well, so I'll stick some footage of that in. But yeah, it's pretty beautiful. There are a couple of other people on the mountain over there. You might be able to see them. But yeah, I'm happy.